This one says, "Dear sisters, I'm married to this good man who is 10 years older than me, and we have a daughter. My husband is a chartered accountant and a very busy man. He really takes care of my daughter and me very much. The problem is that he doesn't have time for me and isn't romantic, which bothers me a lot. He's very good when it comes to sex. He loves sex a lot, and that's the only time he acts romantic by, say, kissing and cuddling. Apart from that, we live together like siblings. No romantic moments. I do everything for him. I cook, I wash, I clean, take care of our child. If I don't act romantically by hugging, sitting or sleeping on his lap when he's in the living room, bring up a chat or sleep on him when we go to bed, then we can live for years without this. I always have to play all the parts. Sometimes I feel like I'm just a servant or a sex machine. He does not care about my feelings. The only thing he cares about is me doing all the house chores and serving him food. I love him, but I'm not happy in this marriage. Sometimes I regret getting married to him. I've tried talking to him, but he doesn't take me seriously. Because he's older than me and better educated than I am, he thinks he's always wiser. After our marriage, I had to fight for my respect by voicing out my frustrations before he changed. I really respect him a lot. I worship him, and I always keep quiet, even when I'm right. He used to see me as his small girl until I couldn't take it anymore, and I fought him on that particular one. I thank God things are quite okay now, though. Please, I want you to help me with this because I am not happy in my marriage, and I want to quit." Rosina, I'm going to come straight to you for this one. She's not happy in her marriage.
What I would say is that, you see, most of the time, we know the kind of people that we are going to get married to. At least you know his temperament. I mean, when you were dating, before you got married and all of that, I'm sure you realized that this was a very, quote-unquote, serious gentleman. Like, he didn't have an ounce of showing, let's say, open affection and things like that. He wasn't very comfortable with things like this. However, what I've noted from her submission is that the times that she tries to hug him, he doesn't push her off. When he tries to put her head on him, he doesn't suck her off his lap.
Sure.
So it's possible that he just doesn't know how to express. However, when you express, he's never stopped you. When you ask for, he's never denied you. And you say that he's also good in the bedroom. So which means that, okay, fine, you do the whole work with the whole putting him in the mood and everything. But at the end of it all, there's a win-win situation. It's not like he's bad at it, he can't satisfy you, and even after that, you're even more angry. Now, looking at the way your marriage was designed from the onset, it was probably what it was, where he made sure, or he had to make sure that he took 100% financial responsibility for the home. And you probably also agreed to be the housewife because you expected that, okay, Sikabeba, then I'll just cook, take care of the kids, and do this and do that, and that's fine. And over time, you've realized that no, you're sitting on your happiness, and that's where it comes back to the submission I made with the first story. That you see, you should never lose who you are just because you want to get married or stay in a marriage. You should never lose who you are. So most of the time, in the beginning, it will look like you like talking. It will look like you like arguments. It will look like you talk about these small things. This is what you are saying. But you see, at least you'd have registered your concerns over a period. And over time, even if he's refusing to listen, over time, the hope is that you will probably listen and now know that, look, this is my wife. This is what makes her happy. But you've been quiet. He's been doing all the financial rounds, killing his back, making sure that everything from shelter to salt is being borne by him, that you don't even have to lay a finger to buy anything for the house. Takes care of the kids. You have no wants in that department. You are so satisfied in that department, but you're only worried the kind of input that you are putting into your marriage. We are not saying that you should be okay with what you are doing or not be okay with what you are doing, because we are all very different and all marriages are different. And what the agreement is before the marriage is different for everybody. But the most important thing is that don't keep quiet about it. And it's because she kept quiet about it over a long period of time. That's why it's now eating her. Because she said that she just didn't mind him, even though it wasn't okay with him. And that's why I keep saying that, look, marriage when no matter, even if the guy is 20 years older than you, I know people who are married to people who are older than them, and they even have, those women even have a better say in the marriage. For instance, the man may be older, probably more influential, probably has more political connections, everything. When people want to come and see him for favors, they'll tell you that, oh, go and talk to my madam. If she's okay, then we'll sort you out. There are situations like that. So the age difference is not an excuse. The moment you guys decide to get married, you're on a partner level, whether one is older than you or you're all on a partner level, you're in this together. The most important thing is to talk about it, communicate your issues. Never keep quiet on your issues, because when you keep quiet on your issues, the day you decide to talk about it, one, you'll get some facts wrong. Two, you'd have blown up so many things that he was thinking was okay with you. And it will come as a shock to him, knowing that, so all along, when you were keeping quiet about these things, you had a problem with it. So it maybe lose the essence of the argument, and then the argument will now become, so you've been hiding all these emotions from me for all these years. And the whole thing just metamorphoses into something, something that you can't really handle. So my dear, communication is one of the number one things in a marriage. You should be able to tell your partner what you are feeling, what you are thinking, what makes you happy, what makes you sad. If he's having it difficult showing emotions, showing affection, outside before the bedroom, you started making the attempt. Ask them, like, once in a while, when you find the opportunity, maybe the child is asleep and it's just the two of you, you can bring it up in conversation. That, oh, my dear, you're a little too, why don't you, occasionally I want to be, chased, I want to be hunted, or I want to feel like you're a woman. I want you to, I don't know, just do something to make me feel like you think about me, like you can't wait to get home to see me. I mean, I know that you do everything for the house. I'm so grateful, and I adore you. But I wish you could show me a bit more affection. He might be taken aback, like, oh, Charlie, what's up? But in the end, he might try to do something. And if he makes the attempt and he doesn't do it well, don't laugh at him. Encourage it. Or both of you can even turn it into more like a comedy thing, like, oh, so what I should hold here? Okay, I should do this. Then over time, it becomes the thing. So my thing is that, look, just communicate it. Speak your mind. Say exactly how you feel. Let your partner know exactly what makes you happy. It's very important. Don't sit on it. When you sit on it, a time comes, you don't even know how to voice it out. But for now, all you can do is to communicate to him and let him know. But don't let him feel like what he's doing for the house is underestimated. And don't let him feel like the cooking and the cleaning you are doing too much, because I'm sure that you guys decided on that at the beginning or at the onset of the marriage. So why complain now?
Right. Okay, let me come to Olivia. What are your thoughts on this particular matter?
Well, that sometimes, right, when you're a stay-at-home mom, I decided to I'm talking based on my experience. I decided to take some time off work when I started having babies, and I decided to stay home to take care of my babies till they're old enough to go to school, so that should something happen, I can actually communicate with them and ask them, oh, what happened, X, Y, and Z. But that was a decision we made together. Having said that, I've experienced what it's like to be home and to cook, to clean, to tidy up, to chase after your kids. And it's a lot of work. It is. It's a lot of work as compared to, yes, you go to the office, you're working, you're sitting. There are two different things, but it's a lot tasking to be a stay-home mom or a stay-home parent. It's got a lot involved in there. And it can be draining. It can really, really be draining. So I think, based on her submission, I think that the whole thing is looking as though she's been doing everything. Yes, the man goes and he comes, he goes to work, he's also doing whatever he has to do from a man's perspective. Yes, okay. Having said that, and you did say from your earlier submission that you idolize the guy, if I'm not wrong, like he means a lot to you. So it's as though when he says whatever he says, you take it in good faith and you just go on. And that has been the norm over these years. So my dear, you can't wake up one morning and expect him to be a different man, because for every reaction that he was giving you, for every action that he was putting across on you, you accepted it in good faith and you were cool with it. So it would be difficult for him to understand or even appreciate where you're coming from, because he's going to be like, okay, what has changed? And you've also gotten to a point in time whereby you're tired. You're cooking, you're cleaning, you're doing everything. He comes home, he doesn't help, he sits back, and it's just you bathing the kids. He's sitting down reading newspaper, you're cooking, and you're tired. Moving on, my dear, I just want to understand that it's not going to change overnight. It will take time. And you can do it. You see, as women as we are, you don't have to nag to get your point across. You don't have to shout. You don't have to. There are little things that you could do to sort of get his attention. I mean, like Rose was saying, you can have that conversation with him. Rather than when he comes on you, or when you're in the kitchen, you can ask him in a nice way, oh, my dear, oh babe, can you help me out with this? Or this is how I feel, after a long day, when I stand up the whole time, when it comes to bedroom stuff, I get very tired and very irritated. Maybe can you massage my feet for tonight? Do you see what I mean? You can communicate what you want in different ways gradually. But if you address the problem from a point whereby you're upset and everything is you and you're tired, my dear, you won't move on. Communicate as effectively and efficiently as much as you can. Some of your communication forms will have to be verbal, and you will have to come from a loving approach. And this time, let him know that, okay, this is where you guys were coming from. Back then, you were really in love. Well, you still are in love, but you're looking for the best for your relationship. If you do that and it doesn't work, I don't know, find somebody who can get his listening ear as well. I really don't like people taking their marriage stuff out in the open, but I think that try and work on it as much as you can from home and see how best you can move on. If that doesn't work, try and see if you can get somebody who has his listening ear to communicate what you're looking for. But trust me, you can do it. It's not impossible, but you need to appreciate that it will take time, and you need to suggest in different ways and communicate in different ways, and hopefully you should be able to resolve it.
Great. So Tina, let me come to you. I mean, what do you do if it's not that your partner doesn't want to change or compromise to make you happy, but it seems like he's just stuck in his ways? How do you deal with things like that?
So just for me, the age gap actually accounts for some of these things. Some people will say that it doesn't matter if you're 10 years or 20 years older, the marriage is still okay, it's all right. Yes, every age gap has its advantages and its disadvantages. And you could have, and there are too many points in this message. My mind is all over the place. But for the age gap, one, I feel as though once the man, the advantage is that the man is looking on you like his younger sister, taking care of the home, bringing everything. He comes with some sort of maturity to the table. And he also feels like, okay, these are my dependents. The onus lies on me to make sure that they are okay. So he comes with this protection and provision and everything. Okay. But then once a man is 10 years, that's a whole generation apart. Okay. And once they are growing, they become like the man's libido lessens. That this is me. And the woman's libido heightens. So what it is that you the woman have to do more to get the man to be on the same level with you. I'm not sure all the sisters will agree with me, but this is what I see. This is what I see. Like, I feel like a lot of men, at some point, they just want to They just want to play around, get something, and just sleep. You, the woman, too, you want to, express yourself in so many ways and have proper sex and be happy and go with it. But it looks like that is what is happening with the age gap. 1, 2, how you feed the relationship is how it goes. So if every time you leave having sex for longer periods, like you leave the times that you have sex is not regular. You do it, let's say, once a month, twice a month, once a week, and you are leaving it apart. It becomes very, very easy to go long periods without sex, because every time, that's not the center, or that is not part of the routine. Your routine is cleaning the house. If he has come, hey, daddy has come, let's go and make his bed. Let's go and lay his table once he's finished. And this happened in the office, that happened in the office. My money is not coming, Before you realize, everybody is tired, everybody's gone to bed, and another day has started. And it will go on 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, and then long periods of time you haven't had sex. And it's so normal. You will lay on the same bed like brother and sister. You are not fighting, you are not arguing, but you are not having sex. And a lot of married couples will tell you that this is what actually happens in their homes. They have less sex. So when the woman doesn't want it, is when the man also goes outside going to look for other entertainment and other things. And the woman becomes frustrated when the man actually doesn't want it. And so these things feed into it. But there's one thing that she said in there that really, really excited me. She said when they started the marriage, she realized that the man didn't respect her, or didn't respect her voice, or wasn't listening to her. So she had to, until she made her voice heard, she took it seriously and had a conversation with him and fought for her voice to be heard, is when he actually took it serious. So something has happened in the relationship where it's she wasn't getting the results she wanted, but she stood on her feet and she was able, to convince him to come to realize that, listen, I'm serious about this situation.
Right.
And so I don't think this is any different. You need to be serious about the conversation.
Okay.
You don't need to fight, though. You don't need to shout. You don't need to be rude, or you don't need to, disrespect. But you need to let him know that, listen, although today, if you come home, we will have a conversation. And I want us to sit down, maybe tuck A, B, or C baby into bed, and let's have a conversation over dinner or something.
Right.
Let it be serious. Let it be a meeting, or let it be deliberate. Let it not be one of the conversations that, you are going to have passing.
All right.
And state your message across. But definitely, I think that you can solve it by yourself, because you've done it in the past.